Yeah, that's not enough. G'day there, mate. My name is Mr. Magilla-cutti, and welcome back once again to my channel. Today, we'll be continuing the story of Horizon 2, The Forbidden West. Now, where we left off in the previous episode, actually, I don't remember where we left off, but I know we were finishing up a couple more side quests in the game before we actually continue on the main story. Today, we're going to be heading back into the base and having a chat with everyone in there. Now, just a bit of a heads up. I did try to do a recording of this before, but I, like my usual self, forgot to unmute the microphone at some point in the game. So, I decided to take a break from recording this since I recorded ahead a few days, sorry, and decided to come back to this fresh. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Now, I only noticed the, nope, sorry, let me start again. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I did have the mic unmuted at.
Remember, we need to get
Right, forgot. Alright, so what's No, yes, here we go. Now, as I was saying, I only noticed the no. What I was trying to say was the mic was unmuted at a certain point from the story, from the recording. Sorry, but after my dad was calling out to me to talk to me, I had to mute the mic, but I forgot to unmute it. Either that, well, I did press the unmute button and it didn't work properly. One of the two. Right.
Gonna clean my gear later. I can do yours if you want.
I cleaned it already.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Aloy! You came back with some interesting friends.
Wish I could say we don't need them. But Silence and Tilda are here for a reason. Even Regala.
Yeah. Enemy of my enemy and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Alright.
I guess Silence is keeping to himself, as usual.
I was hoping he'd give me an excuse to hammer his sorry ass to the ground.
Please don't.
You telling me you wouldn't want to get just one good hit on that smug face of his? After everything he's done?
I would.
Sure. Later. Right now, he's got something we need. Doesn't look like any of our guests are making trouble.
Yet. So, Katalo tells me you flew. Well, that's new. I've been busting my bulks trying to learn to read. You're out there having all the fun.
Don't worry. You'll be getting all the fun you can handle soon. With the Zeniths.
Looking forward to it.
And who knows, maybe you'll get a chance to actually fly. Imagine the big lunk here flying. That would be a fun sight to see.
You, talk to Tilda at all?
I tried. I don't think even a hot forge could melt that ice. And you say she wants to help?
I think so. Well, let's hope.
Yeah, but the thing is, I still have my doubts about it. She says she wants to help, but everyone always has a second agenda. That may not always be true, but it can't hurt to keep your guard up slightly when it comes to that, especially around new people or people you know.
I better get going.
Oh, you know where to find me.
Aloy. It appears that we have some interesting new guests. I'm glad to see you're okay, though. I heard you gave the Tenakth something to talk about. I was half expecting you to burst in through the ceiling riding a sunwing.
Sorry to disappoint. Have you talked to any of our new friends?
Erend and I tried speaking to Silence, but apparently our tribal prattle is unnecessary.
Charming, isn't he?
That's one word I wouldn't use.
Ready to head over to the Zenith base?
Whatever comes, we will endure.
Thoughts on our new Zenith acquaintance?
I'd say she smells like death, but even death smells of something. She's more like a cold piece of metal. bent on repelling all semblance of life.
She's definitely different.
I deny that.
I have to go. I trust you to keep things civil around here.
I'll make sure Aaron doesn't punch Silence in the face, if that's what you mean.
Thanks.
Yeah, but I know you're thinking about it yourself. Wait, no, scratch that. She wouldn't be because she doesn't know the guy.
You flew? Kotalo told me. And took out Regala's machines? You know what? I don't even know why I'm surprised. I saw we have visitors and a new weapon. Does this mean we're ready to take the fight to the Zeniths?
Almost. Are you okay?
I was wondering, is it really safe having someone like Regala here? She seems angry. The kind of angry that leads to murdering people in their sleep.
Don't worry. We're going to point that anger in the right direction. The Zeniths.
If you say so.
I hope our new guests have been behaving.
This Silence, he's the one who built the weapon that can take down Zenith shields?
He is. Though I wouldn't expect him to answer any questions about it. He refuses to dole out his secrets to us lesser mortals.
Oh.
You know that special part of us that makes us warm, kind, welcoming?
Our spirit?
Yeah. He was born without that.
Sounds about right. I don't know why I suggested that if you're going to try and kill him, aim for the head, because he doesn't have a heart. That's what I would have said.
You sure you're okay going on this mission? I know things must be happening pretty fast for you.
I've already braved oceans and madmen who thought they were ancestors reborn. Why not a few immortals with lethal drones at their command, too?
Guess the more the merrier. I suppose you saw that Tilda is here. Our very own Zenith.
I almost went up to her to ask her, well, every question I've ever had about the legacy. Every diviner I know would kill to get 5 minutes with one of the old ones. But now that she's here, all I feel is a vague unease. I don't know if I'm scared of finding out more uncomfortable truths, or just scared of her. Probably both.
I need to wrap up a few things, but stay sharp.
I'll be ready when you call.
I suppose you'll be feeling that way, especially given the fact that they heard how great the ancestors were, but the meat, one in the flesh, well, and given the fact of the kind of presence she's giving off, well, you wouldn't be surprised if you're feeling uneasy.
Just you wait, Barb. We're taking those space lights down.
There's Gwen stuff in here now. Must be all of us.
Aloy. Oh yeah, forgot we can ask him about his aunt.
I see you've got your new arm ready to go.
Yes. It still feels strange. I've gotten used to the absence, but no matter. I'm sure I will need it before the attack on the Zenith base is through.
The more I learn about the old ones, the less different they seem from the people of today.
Haven't seen you since the battle at the Grove. How are you holding up?
I saw you fly on the wings of the Ten, and paralyze Regala's army with lightning. I would say that I am inspired.
Thank you, I guess.
It is I who should be thanking you.
Look, I know you're probably not happy about keeping Regala around, but I want her on our side when we fight the Zeniths.
It is more than she deserves. Even so, I will not question your judgment.
Thank you, Kotalo. Anything new going on I should know about?
The Quen has been more insistent than usual, asking about the visions at the Grove. Her pursuit of knowledge is relentless. The Ten would have a hard time fighting her off.
Just think of her like one of your chaplains.
Yes. Only more persistent.
Yeah, well, given the fact that she was limited in her into what she can read about and what she can't, I imagine, like any sponge to water, she wants to soak up any knowledge on the old world she can grab her hands on. Sometimes that can be a good thing, and sometimes that can be a bad thing. It's 50-50, really, depending on the person. Sometimes they will use that knowledge for good, sometimes they will use that knowledge for their unselfish needs, or the needs of other selfish people, depending on the person.
Things will get ugly once the Zeniths realize we're in their base. You'll need every trick you've ever learned.
I would have it no other way. Many soldiers died in the old world to make sure we stood here today. We will endure on their behalf. Though, I am curious how you intend to defeat the Zenith's defenses without an army of our own.
Leave that to me. Just make sure you're ready to fight.
As you say. You have more than earned my trust.
Thanks.
Did you meet Tilda?
There is something about her that doesn't seem natural. I wouldn't be surprised if my sword went through her and she didn't bleed at all.
Honestly, with her, nothing would surprise me.
I suppose anyone would feel that way, especially coming in the presence of someone who genetically altered themselves so they wouldn't die. So yeah, even I would feel the same way. So, Wings of the Ten.
Your people keep mentioning the Wings of the Ten. What exactly does it mean?
The visions tell us that the Ten flew on great metal machines with wings and leapt into battle from the sky. For us, to imitate this feat is the ultimate expression of martial prowess. It is why the challengers leap into the arena during the Kulrut. And now, you have done it. Like the deeds of the Ten themselves, it will never be forgotten. So, tell me, how did it feel?
I won't lie. Pretty good.
I can only imagine.
I think some soldiers, even today, still like leap from planes, helicopters, and all that. Either be parachuted down, or actually no, wingsuits. Since parachutes, you pretty much leave yourself as an open target, but wingsuits, you can dive in faster, but you still have to be careful when you reach ground level.
I have to go. But I'll be briefing everyone on the plan soon.
Understood.
But thinking about it now, I think you'll still need a parachute for when you reach a lower altitude, even in the wingsuits.
There you are. Well done, Aloy. Despite my reservations, you managed to secure Silence and his weapon. You're truly a shining example of Liz's fortitude.
I've been thinking about what you said at your house. How you were friends with Elizabeth. It was more than that, wasn't it?
Perceptive as ever. You're right, we were together for a time.
Okay, so... what happened?
I was an orphan. I had always been alone. By my 30s, I was starting to wonder if that was simply my fate in life. And then I met Liz. We kept running into each other at conferences. We'd have coffee. At some point, it became drinks. I thought it was just shop talk, an exchange of ideas, but then I was surprised at how much I looked forward to seeing her. Soon we were flying halfway across the world every other week just to meet up. For the first time, I didn't feel lonely. I could imagine a future where I wasn't.
I think Liz felt the same way at first. She had lost her mother a few years back. I filled a void for her. I know I did. But as time passed, it seemed as though she wanted less when I wanted more. And so we ended things.
So helping me, restoring Elizabeth's dream, it's what,
A second chance, yes. I made a mistake leaving Earth while Liz stayed behind. I should have done more. So when I saw you, a woman who has carved her own remarkable path, beyond even what made Liz a phenomenon, I knew I had to help you. To do right by her.
Yeah, but the question still is, does she see Aloy as Aloy and not as Elizabeth? Or someone to replace as Elizabeth? That's my question.
You said before that you're not like the other Zeniths. That you never were. But you went along with all of their plans.
Out of necessity. I'm not proud of it. But complicity became a means of survival, both when Earth was consumed and when the colony on Sirius was destroyed. I did what I had to. But I resolved to remain one step ahead of the others, to try to undo what damage I could. Hence the data channel with Beta. The secret passage into their base and the little trick I pulled to save you.
Still doesn't undo the damage you did. You would have had to pay for a very long time in order to make up for that.
Why did you make the data channel look like your house?
I built that house as a shelter to weather any storm. A safe place, not just for me, but for the art stored in its depths. Cultural artifacts of incalculable value. Truly, some of the greatest achievements of human civilization.
And you wanted Beta to see them?
Yes. Her upbringing was so cold and technical. I thought if she could experience Vermeer and Rembrandt, it would bring something else into her life. A heritage every bit as valuable as the scientific and technical data being drummed into her. I'm sorry I had to cut off contact, but I'll never regret sharing this house with her. She needed its shelter even more than I did.
Maybe so. But what she truly needed was someone to connect to. I know it was a risk for yourself, but bloody hell. And this is the problem with some people too. Some people think just sending money, giving them a house, is all that other people need to survive and all that. But no. They need human connection. They need someone they can talk to, someone they can also have a shoulder to cry on as well. Not just money. Which is why I know material possessions are a necessity, but nothing can ever replace that with true human connection. At least that's what I think anyway. Personally, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have my parents to help me out from there again.
Why do you think Elizabeth pulled away?
I've wondered that for 1,000 years. She was brilliant, visionary. She cared so deeply for the world, for the betterment of humanity. But it also felt like she kept everyone at arm's length, including me. She never wanted to share her burdens. I think, in the end, she had a core that she never let anyone be part of. Sometimes I wonder if anyone really knew her.
I found a recording of you and Elizabeth back in the proving lab after Farzineth's attempt to steal GAIA.
Yes. A most unpleasant conversation.
She said something after the call. I think she regretted how things ended between you.
Did she? All this time, thank you for telling me. I've always hated that those were the last words we ever said to each other. and that her last impression of me was as a functionary of Far Zenith, not who I truly am.
No comments.
When it's time to break into the Zenith base, what can we expect?
I'll go over the full layout once you've assembled your friends. Suffice it to say, we will need to push as fast as possible to Beta and Gaia's location, dealing with heavy resistance along the way. There are also printing facilities where the others have been amassing the natural resources they've stripped from the region.
What for?
First for use in the base's infrastructure, and then to fabricate more Spectre drones, a small army of them.
When I was out in the wilds, I saw a shuttle take off from the island, heading for space.
It was likely ferrying materials to and from our ship in orbit. After hundreds of years luxuriating in our digital comforts, the ship was barely space-worthy when we made our escape. Disaster can strike at any moment. We've learned our lesson.
Have you figured out how Silence's weapon works?
No, and he's been very careful not to allow me near it. I'll admit it bothers me, but regardless of how it functions, I am confident it will deactivate the other shields en masse.
How many of them are in the base?
10, including Eric and Gerard. Only a handful of us made it to our ship when our colony collapsed.
Why so many?
So, Eric. Was he always a bloodthirsty psychopath?
I believe he got worse over time. On Earth, he was the founder of a profitable private military company. A band of cutthroats, in other words. Even as governments abandoned human combatants in favor of automated warfare. He found success with clientele that required a more personal touch. There were also rumors that he personally hunted and killed his targets. On occasion, all for the thrill of it. But on Sirius, he retreated to virtual reality simulations. In them, he could go on rampages as violent as he pleased, though I suspect with diminishing satisfaction.
All of his tribe believes he was one of the greatest people from the old world.
Then they would be quite disappointed to meet him, though I'm sure he'd bask in the adoration.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of a... like... I know a lot of people like to push their own limits to see how far they can go. But with Eric here, when he was pretty much given the chance to be unstoppable and just unkillable and everything like that, I think that pretty much just started the dull fast. Like a type of drug that you just want more and more, but no matter how much more of it you get, it just gets less and less satisfying, no matter how much dosage you take. And the only way you can get his kicks was to truly kill someone. Because killing them in the hollow wasn't doing any good. But to go wild and rampant on a living creature, I think he really missed the feel of that. All the mindset of a psychotic serial killer, if you ask me.
What can you tell me about Gerard?
He was the head of the world's largest financial conglomerate, and as such had dealings with almost every major corporation. It made him one of the wealthiest people on Earth, and certainly the wealthiest among Far Zenith.
What does one person do with that much money?
Buy more power, more influence. Gerard's always believed himself to be a refined patrician, able to maintain control with a polished smile. But beneath that exterior is a cold and calculating operator. It was his decision to restrict Beta's upbringing to her digital educators, the avatars of the Apollo database, while we were painted as her benefactors.
Well, we'll deal with him soon enough. And the others.
I would very much like to see his face when he realizes we've beaten him.
Someone cold, someone calculating. But yet, ruthless enough to do what is necessary by the sounds of it.
When I was in the ruins of Vegas, I found data on a man named Stanley Chen. I think he was a Zenith.
Stanley, ever the optimist. He was one of the good ones. When we established our colony, he built an exact replica of Las Vegas in virtual reality. Lights, shows, gambling, every detail perfectly recreated. And while others cloistered themselves in their own fantasies, he flung his doors wide to everyone.
The way you're talking about him, I'm guessing he didn't make it back to Earth?
No, he perished when our colony was destroyed. He would have been thrilled to discover that part of his beloved city survived.
Yeah. If he did sound like one of the good ones. And in another reality, if he did survive and actually came back, I think he would have been overjoyed to see that his city did survive. And not only that, that the Ocelot Ron, our Delver friends there, were actually using it again, opening it up to everyone. Even if it is for profit, he would have loved to see what they would do to rebuild his city. Adding there onto his legacy. And in that case, I definitely think he would have loved to help Aloy stop the Zeniths. That's my opinion anyway.
When Beta escaped and hid in an ancient research facility, I saw another one of the Zeniths. Verbena. Who was she?
A dull star amidst a sea of brighter constellations. Unlike most of Far Zenith's members who amassed their wealth through shrewd business deals and technological achievements, Verbena inherited her billions. Her father had achieved great success in the luxury holotourism industry. At age 24, she became the world's most eligible bachelorette, branding herself a life designer. Someone who leverages their fame to influence the choice of others.
What? Like a cult?
In a way, yes.
Well, she must have done something right to have survived this long.
She was her own brand of ruthless. That much is true. But even rats can cling to a vessel for escape.
Pretty much she's using Daddy's wealth and fame to get her own way. But when she couldn't cope in the end, she pretty much had a blade run through her, literally. Well, because, well, then again, she did lose her shield unexpectedly and let her guard down.
Okay, so I've had run-ins with a handful of Zeniths. What about the rest?
An array of the wealthiest people on Earth. Titans of their industries.
And let me guess, all selfish and ruthless to the core?
Most, but not all. There were a few with whom I got along. Annika Murjani, for instance, was always delightful. She founded the Holonet's most successful dance channel and was herself mesmerizing to watch. And I had fascinating discussions with Song Jiao about her work in cellular biology. Our immortality treatments are due in part to her achievements. But then there were others like Devin Miller, the CEO of a fast food printing corporation. His only real preoccupations were perfecting his golf swing and taking self-hollows. When I think about all of us, we really should have accomplished more. We had eternity.
Yeah, but some people just prefer to stick to their own thing and never, ever move forward. It's a sad thing. But then again, these are sad people who try to prolong their existence and yet only choose to try to make themselves more perfect instead of trying something new or trying something else. So they remain selfish, self-centered, and only look out for themselves.
Okay. I'll let you know when it's time.
I'll be here until then. And thank you, Aloy, for giving me this chance. My past has always been a struggle. More than once I've lost everything. But when I look to the future, I see Liz's dream fulfilled. A universe of new possibilities.
Maybe we can make it happen.
We will. I won't let anything get in the way. I promise you that.
I may have some respect for her now, but then again, I still stick by my case of thinking that she probably does have a secondary agenda.
Elizabeth and Tilda had a history. The more I learn about her life, the more complicated it seems. I guess she saw something good in Tilda. I don't know what exactly, but seems like it was enough. For a while, at least. When it looks impossible, look deeper. And then fight like you can win. I will, Rost. Now and always.
One to live by.
With Regala out of the way, Ikaru and Tanakh, they're safe. The future's up to them now. I do wish they'd drop all the honorary names they've given me. But if I've learned anything about them, that is not a battle I am going to win.
I'm afraid not, sorry, Aloy.
Focus. It's Varl's. I used to think no Nora would ever accept one. Varl did. Even when he was overwhelmed. He refused to let me push him away.
And who knows? Maybe some other Nora who are willing to accept to come and learn. Maybe even the matriarchs. To learn that the All-Mother might actually be GAIA herself.
I failed, Varl. At Gemini. I should have pushed harder. I should have done more. I'd give anything to have him back.
Indeed. He was a good man. And he will be missed.
Sneakers that weren't used for sneaking. Got it.
That's the thing. What do they call sneakers sneakers anyway? If they're not used for sneaking. Anyway, regardless down here.
This place smells wrong. No sand or wind, only cold steel. And the others up there, your squad.
They can hold their own. As for this base, it may not be what you're used to. But it is a shelter.
Call it what it is. A cage.
You came here on your own.
For the battle you promised. So for now I wait in my cage for your word. Tell me when to strike.
Charming.
The whole time I've been in the West, I've been fighting you and your rebels. I'd at least like to know why.
You were among the enemy. What more is there to know?
Why did you do it?
Dork, Jiroka, Makalo, and the Karja pushed into the desert to raid our people. My brother's squad was among the first to intercept them. But the Karja captured them, strung them up, and burned them alive as an example. It was too late. I found them by the sound of their screams.
So you wanted vengeance?
Vengeance. No. I wanted devastation. To tear down the Karja's cities and drown the land in blood. Hunt down every last survivor and grind their bones until the sky chokes on the dust. But my chief betrayed me. Betrayed the Tenakth.
I know tales of people who get so blinded by vengeance, by anger, they see nothing else other than ruining another person's life, or in this case here, ruining or destroying a complete and whole civilization. I mean, look back on the history we have.
How did Hekarro betray you?
Hekarro called on the clans to resist the Karja's red raids. But we did more than just defend. We hunted them, and they fled as children before a pack of claw striders all the way to their border. There we ripped down their stone walls. Their domain was ours for the taking. But when it came time to push on, Hekarro ordered us to fall back. What soldier retreats when slaughter is at hand?
The kind who wants peace for their people.
Peace is just a lull between vendettas. But I thought my chief had greater tactics in mind, so I stood by him, even when he allowed that filthy Karja to join our ranks.
Fashav.
I enjoyed watching him die at the embassy. He should have been put down when we first captured him on the field. Instead, Hekarro made him a marshal.
Fashav told me how he became a marshal. He earned it just like any Tenakth.
It was an insult. No outlander can ever deserve to wear our armor, bear our marks. And then a Karja messenger was brought before us? That's when I knew. I had to run my blade through Hekarro and drag his treacherous corpse to the gates of the Sundom.
Again, some people just only want vengeance and nothing more.
What happened when the Karja messenger appeared before Hekarro?
The quivering priests bore a message from their new king. No more war. No more raids. Suddenly the Karja wanted to talk peace. An embassy at the very fortress we tore down? A true Tenakth would never take a Karja truce. Their blood exists to be spilled. But Hekarro lapped up the priest's message. He showed himself a Karja-loving traitor when he accepted. That's when I challenged him.
And lost.
His mercy was just another sign of his weakness. I vowed never to rest until the debt was repaid, with him on his knees before me. So with an army of soldiers and machines at my back, I returned. The day you got in my way.
If only she saw the vision that Hekarro saw, maybe her opinion would have changed. I'm not sure if that would be true or not, but, you know, too late now. And I think that message is going to be repeated back at the Grove.
The deal you made. Override tech in exchange for an assault on the Zenith base. How did Silence approach you?
That name means nothing to me. My agreement was with the Oseram Asera and her sons of Prometheus.
So all this time, you didn't even know who you were really dealing with? And you trusted an Outlander?
If it was a trick, I would have crushed her. But she spoke with the same burning hatred for the Karja. And she offered me the chance to run them down with machines. The terror in your enemy's eyes when they see you charge. You know what I'm talking about. I bet you felt it.
Nope.
I don't think so. What about your end of the deal? Would you have honored it?
Had I killed Hekarro and become chief, these Zeniths would have been the first of the tribe's victories. But because of you, my people will continue to consort with the enemy. A tribe of weaklings.
Because of me, hundreds of Tenakth won't throw away their lives in a battle they can't win.
So overly sure of themselves, they don't really see that they will be fighting a losing battle, and all the blood spilled would have been for nothing. Till they only realize it when they're the last ones standing.
Are you really going to fight alongside me?
I have no reason to betray you.
Really?
I failed to kill Hekarro, failed to eliminate you. No Tenakth would follow me now. The Carja remain out of my reach, cowering behind their walls. All I have left are the screams of those long dead and unending rage. So show me where to bury it.
Hopefully one day she can find peace.
All right. I guess we'll both face the end soon enough.
Ever since you got in my way, I've wanted to see your bones burned white beneath the sun. But if I'm to die in battle, then it might as well be with the one who flew with the wings of the Ten.
I'll let you know when it's time to move out.
Alrighty then. Let's see what our dear friend Samus is up to. What's he scheming? What's he tinkering with? What kind of BS he's thinking up now?
Did you need something?
Actually, yes, we do.
Bravo. You managed to sway a Zenith to your side. Care to explain?
Not a chance. I thought you said the weapon was ready.
There's always room to optimize. But that's not why you're here. I assume you want to comprehend my undertakings. So, ask away.
Since when were you so forthcoming?
Since you turned this into a waiting game. And as it seems you have found modest success, perhaps I'm willing to be generous.
Still always with a stick up his butt.
Okay, so your big plan, everything you've been manipulating for the last few months. Let me see if I got this straight. You learned about the Zeniths from Hades when you interrogated it. Then you came up with a plan to defeat them by using a Tenakth army and that weapon. And to get the Tenakth to fight for you, or rather the Sons of Prometheus, armed Regalla's rebels with override tech.
Did you have an actual question, or are you still playing catch-up?
So all this time, even before I found the coordinates at the Spire, you were out here scheming. Why couldn't you just tell me?
When I learned of the Zenith's return to Earth, I laid out my plans. I knew I would one day require an army of overzealous Tenakth to assault the Zenith base. The casualties would be extreme. And I knew you would never allow such a sacrifice, no matter how necessary. Thus, I devised a means to remove your interference from the equation at the Hades Proving Lab.
Yeah, well, remember that. They actually wanted to kill us.
Why create the Sons of Prometheus? You didn't need a Sarah to make override tech.
They were a necessary safeguard. My time serving Hades in the Eclipse demonstrated the risks of getting directly involved. Through the Sons of Prometheus, I could execute my plans, all while remaining anonymous.
Except to a Sarah. How did you get a Sarah to work for you?
I knew there was an associate of the Oseram tinker, Durval, who escaped his failed assault on Meridian. It was trivial to track her down and gain her cooperation. She wanted to succeed where Durval had failed.
So you promised her Regalla, and the Tenakth. The Sarah would help you create a machine-riding army, and wanted to see Meridian burn as much as she did.
And so a partnership was born out of thirst for blood. bonded in mutual self-interest.
You think you had everything figured out, huh?
I did.
Until we came along.
You wanted me to surrender to the Zenith at the Hades Proving Lab. They almost killed me.
Based on everything I knew about them, I concluded they would find you a useful asset, thereby keeping you out of harm's way and, more importantly, out of my way.
So you really didn't know they had their own clone of Elizabeth?
No. Unfortunately, there was no way I could have known that particular detail.
Detail? Well, I guess if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here today.
I guess not.
Tell me about the weapon. How does it work?
I've upgraded the delivery system. It now emits a wave-like effect covering a significant distance.
That doesn't fully answer my question.
No, but I'd be a fool to reveal its inner workings. After all, why did you withhold your plan for dealing with the Zenith drones? Yes, even you can appreciate the value of secrecy when warranted. Suffice it to say that the weapon will work. The intricacies of how is knowledge that is mine alone.
Pretty much a game of a game of spy versus spy. Really love those comics.
Why help Regalla take over? If you wanted an army, you could have just gone to Hekarro.
Before Regalla's rebellion, Hekarro was only concerned with battling machines and fostering friendships with Akarja. Even if I gained his ear, he would never agree to send his forces to battle a threat he couldn't understand.
So helping a bloodthirsty exile was easier.
Yes, exceedingly so. All Regalla craved was war against the Karja and anyone who threatens the Tenakth. She would have led the tribe into battle without question, which was precisely what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
While I was out there, I had a couple run-ins with the Quen.
The tribe from across the ocean. And?
Their entire tribe was shaped around the discovery of focuses. One of them, Alva, even joined me here. Don't you want to know more about them?
No. They stumbled upon the greatest technological artifact from the ancient world, and what did they do with it? They shrouded the knowledge they unearthed in mysticism and taboo, creating a pantheon out of corporate shills.
Yes, well, it also led them to Thebes.
Did it now?
So those run-ins with the Quen I mentioned. On one of them I teamed up with their expedition to search Thebes. We found Pharaoh at the end.
You must have needed Omega clearance. So, what was it like?
Worse than you can imagine.
He single-handedly wiped out collective human knowledge. I'm sure it was still less than he deserved.
Let me guess. You would have scraped him into a jar so you could prod his brain, like what you did with Hades.
For a start.
And I think he would pretty much just want to torture him after... No, just because he was the one that erased the Apollo database. So I think it will do everything to make Ted's life completely and utterly miserable. I know I would have wanted to do the same thing, but sadly, I wouldn't have the stomach for it.
Alright, Silence. I think I've talked to you long enough. I'll let you know when it's time to go. And try not to mess with Tilda while you're in here, okay? I don't need the two of you butting heads.
Ah, yes. About your Zenith ally. I wonder if you understand what kind of person you're dealing with. For someone to live as long as she has, outlast as many calamities, well, your goals may be aligned now, but I'd watch for the moment they diverge.
Yeah, I'm aware. Reminds me of someone else I know.
Survival is only a necessity to my greater purpose, Aloy. I'd hoped you'd recognize that by now.
Do you know something or not?
Oh, I know a great deal of things. But on this, just call it a feeling.
Oh, a feeling? You mean you finally had one? Huh. Guess even you can change, Silence.
That was a burn right there. Alrighty, so we're gonna head up to GAIA now and assemble everyone. Doing that won't take us straight to the Xeno space, but rather get us prepped for it. We're gonna be doing that since after that there will still be some more dialogue and talk with everyone, so I figured to save time in the next video, I'll get this part out of the way.
Okay. Maybe it's time to get everyone together so Tilda can brief us. But is there anything I should handle before that?
I'm afraid not, Like, we already talked with, Olva, Kotaro, Zoe, Arid, Regala, Tilda, and Sonic. So, we're pretty much done and dusted for now.
Alright, people. I need you up in the control room, right away. Okay, everyone. We all know what's at stake. Beta, Gaia. Not to mention life on Earth. Now, it might seem like the Zeniths are invincible, but they're not. We've got what it takes to break into their base and defeat them. We even have one of them on our side. Tilda, show us the base.
It is constructed atop the ruins of an ancient military facility on an island to the southwest. I can get us inside. To this location, undetected.
How exactly?
You'll know when you need to. Once inside, our goal will be this structure. The launch tower. Gaia and Beta are being held at the top. But along the way, we will face overwhelming resistance. Most importantly from Gerard, Eric, and the others. But also...
Once I take away their shields, we should be able to deal with them. But it will be easier to deploy the device if someone else is carrying it. I'll need a strong back.
Carry stuff? Yeah, I can do that.
Even if your device works, there will still be Spectre drones, scores of them.
If only we had an army to fight them.
I've got that under control. You'll know when you need to. All right. We'll meet up again just before we go in. Where's the best place to rendezvous?
On the coast, just across from the island. Once there, I'll show you the way.
Okay. I'll let you know when I arrive at the rendezvous point. And then you can join me. In the meantime, do whatever you need to prepare. Understood? You two? A minute? Tilda helped me get in touch with Beta, and she told me something important. There's an installation inside the base. It's called a regulator. Here. Once we're inside, I need you two to split off from everyone else and destroy it. So you'll have to bring explosives. This will help stop the drones. Everything depends on it. Are you with me? After that, I want you to find a way to infiltrate the Zenith network.
How?
Go over all the data that Beta left behind. She knew how to do it, I'm sure of that.
All right. But why? What am I trying to do?
Find information about the Zeniths. Anything Tilda's not telling us. Silence is right about one thing. There's no way we can take her on her word.
I'll do my best.
Keep her safe, okay?
On my life.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Never take anything at face value. This is like fishing with a shining object. It may seem like everything, but as soon as you try to grab it, you may never know if it's good or if it's a trap. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. Next episode, I don't know if it'll be the final episode, but once we have a talk with our companions,
We need to get silence weapons to the Zenith base take their shields down.
I'll be gentle with it. I promise.
Good. Without it, there's no pain.
Don't worry. Payback's all I think about.
So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, please remember to hit that like button. Also, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to show your support for the channel. I very much appreciate that. Now with that being said, let's go on. Sorry. With that being said and done, I'll see you guys in the next episode. So thank you all again. And I hope you all please stop me. Yep, I can still talk to him. So with that being said and done, thank you all again, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves and drive safely out there, people.
Dampening sounds.
Bye bye, take care, and have a good one. Okay.